Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 44 of my self-connection experiment. Today, I want to talk about self-sabotage and why us lightworkers self-sabotage ourselves so often. And what I feel like it ultimately has to do with is our unconscious addictions to feelings of lack and unworthiness and these just lower vibration states that we've been conditioned to reside in. And if you're like me, maybe you've spent most of your life in a state of lack and not enough and always seeking always seeking your validation and wholeness outside yourself. So you're always craving and grasping for more. And this is just normal to you. This is just a normal pattern. And feeling abundant and feeling connected and feeling your wholeness come from within is just such, can be such a foreign feeling that our body, like for example, as a light worker, I'm sure you can resonate with this, and I'll use myself as an example. A couple days ago on the full moon, I was feeling so connected. I was feeling so much abundance and just so much wholeness coming from within. And I was like literally looking at my body and I was like feeling and seeing it transforming into a divine body. I just had that seeing and that knowing in that moment. That's the level of wholeness I was experiencing. And then because I think just in our cellular memory, deeply ingrained and wired into our nervous system are these patterns of lack. I think my body literally was like, okay, this is too much abundance, this is too much good feeling, this is too much connection, too much wholeness, abort mission, unconscious patterns for lack now. I need to feel lack again. I'm afraid to feel abundance for this long. Because it had been quite a while since I had self-sabotaged. And early in the process of awakening, early in the process of embodying new earth, and when we're first discovering our own power and that we're a light worker, self-sabotage is very frequent because we get a taste of abundance and we're like, oh, this feels amazing. And then the body, the cellular memory, the old programs, the old stories, the conditioning, the karma comes up and is like, nope, we're going to go back to lack. That is too much abundance, too uncomfortable, too many possibilities. We need to stay small. Let's go right back to lack. And so as a light worker, when you're first blossoming into your power, into knowing who you are, that is a huge part of it. It's just like, here's abundance and then right back to lack. You break free of an old pattern, you're feeling abundant. This is going to last forever. This is who I am. Boof, unconscious pattern sinks your ship again. But as we continue to deepen on this path, as we continue to surrender our personal will and spiritual ego and all of that, we start self-sabotaging less. So we have we go longer periods where we are feeling abundant and whole, and we are just living in alignment more. And that's how I was feeling lately. I had went a really longer time than I've ever gone living in alignment, feeling abundance, and just coming from a place with an open heart. And it was like, that's why it caught me off guard so intensely 2 nights ago on the full moon, when all of a sudden I found myself acting out these old patterns coming up, and I was just all of a sudden like acting them out. And I was like in the middle of it, I was like, okay, I don't want to do this, and I know this is gonna hurt, and I know this is not who I am, but I still found myself doing it. And anything you can do to sabotage your vibration or your inner state of abundance while we're on this quarantine thing, that's what I did. And I just was like, one thing after another. And I was like, what is going on here? Why am I doing this? Even in the moment. And that's when you've outgrown a pattern, when in the moment you're doing it, you can see clearly like, oh, I don't want to be doing this. But you do it anyways. Ooh, that's when it hurts the most. Is like, if your level of awareness is here and you're acting out this level of awareness, well, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't really hurt that bad. But if your level of awareness is here and you're acting this out, that hurts. And if your level of awareness is here and you're acting this out, oh man, that hurts really bad. And it's a really steep fall. So here's how I'll explain it. The longer we go living in alignment, connected, living our truth, and not acting out those old stories and old patterns. The longer we go without doing that, and like the farther the fall. So like if we go a few weeks even without doing it, and then we self-sabotage like I did a couple nights ago, that is a far fall. Because the higher we climb, the farther we fall vibrationally. And when we fall, it hurts. But this is a gift. This is beautiful because it hurt so bad. Because I was at rock bottom yesterday due to my choices. I had the opportunity to surrender even deeper into grace. To tell God, okay, I am not doing that anymore. I had a chance to surrender my old patterns in a more real and honest way than ever before. Like yesterday, I was just like, okay, not doing that again. Not unconsciously acting out those patterns again, because the energetic costs, the energetic consequences are just too severe. The more, it's like, it becomes, the more we live in alignment, like the greater the energetic cost for not living in alignment. Like at first, when we discover we're a light worker, we don't really know what alignment is. So there's not a big cost to just doing what we've always done. And then the further we go along, we start feeling, oh, that hurts. And this is good because it's like you're becoming more and more of this refined vessel, more and more of this refined divine instrument. So when you get farther on your path and you act even just a little bit out of alignment, ooh, you can feel it. And you're like, okay, but this really helps you get in that groove, right? And so that's what I experienced, a really steep fall and a lot of pain because I had been acting in alignment for so long. And it really gave me a chance to just see those old patterns and feel them for like that. I feels like that one last time and be like, okay, enough is enough. And if it wasn't as painful as it was, we wouldn't have such a strong pull to let go of them. We wouldn't have that pain is a catalyst for helping us to let go of those old stories that don't serve us and to really embrace living in alignment. And as far as vibration goes, I want to end this video on a breakthrough I had that builds on the video that I did yesterday. So in the beginning, I was saying how dissolving your spiritual ego is crucial for raising your vibration. And here's why. Your personal will. Your personal will and your spiritual ego, like I said, they keep us from wanting to feel the darker emotions, the lower emotions. And what that does is it keeps us in a state of imbalance, because if we're not willing to feel our darkness and we're just clinging to the lighter feelings, we're going to experience imbalance. And here's the thing, we have to be in a balanced state. We have to be integrating the dark and the light equally to experience a high vibration. So if we have a strong personal will or a strong spiritual ego, it's going to be very difficult for us to experience a high vibration because we're just not going to experience enough balance and enough integration with the light and the dark to have that foundation for balance. And that's why it's so imperative we dissolve that personal will and we dissolve that spiritual ego so that we can experience these higher states and actually have a foundation there. And because when we dissolve the personal will and the spiritual ego, we're not going to be as resistant to lower emotions, because it's that personal will and spiritual ego that comes up and says, hey, don't feel this, resist this, let's go do this instead, let's avoid this, let's eat junk food, let's take this drug, let's go have sex, let's anything but feel this feeling. But when we dissolve that personal will, that spiritual ego, we don't have the resistance to the lower feelings, to the darker feelings, so they can come up and integrate and alchemize, and then we're in a state of balance, and it's from a state of balance where we experience high vibrations. So if you want a high vibration more consistently, it's all about dissolving that personal will. And I think that's what was really brought up for me is another layer of that personal will just falling away. Another layer of me saying, God, I am your divine instrument. I am surrendering these old patterns and these old stories of lack and unworthiness to you because they're just too painful to experience now. It's gotten to the point where, it's just the consequences are just too severe, and that's what I learned from self-sabotage. That's what we always learn from self-sabotage when we act out patterns of unworthiness and lack, and these old stories of just who we are not anymore. We always learn that valuable lesson that helps us to surrender even deeper into our truth. And we're talking about vibration. I want to leave you on a quote from Matt Kahn. Oh my gosh. Matt Kahn. And I'm paraphrasing. It goes something like this. Your vibration is not an accumulation of all the thoughts you're thinking. So it's not all about just having positive thoughts and all of that. Your vibration is an accumulation of the quality decisions that you make every day. So if you're making decisions that are in alignment with your truth, if you're making decisions from a place of abundance and love for yourself, if you're making decisions from a place of what would somebody who loves themselves do, that's going to create a higher vibration. So like me a couple nights ago, I was not making decisions from a place of what would somebody who loves themselves do. And that's why my vibration plummeted. But the gift in that was it helped me to surrender even deeper into grace, even deeper into divine will. It helped that personal will and that spiritual ego fall away one more layer. So when you self-sabotage, know that it's okay and it hurts for a reason. The pain of self-sabotaging is a gift. It's a gift to help you to let go of that personal will, of those patterns of lack, those patterns of neediness and unworthiness that caused you to self-sabotage in the first place. It's another layer of cellular memory being pulled up and released. It's another layer of that nervous system, of that conditioning being pulled up so you can see it, so you can let it go. So you didn't do anything wrong. If you self-sabotage on this path, it's okay. It's part of the journey. It's part of the experience. I'm still doing it. Now, I hope I don't do it for a long time again. I know I'm not going to do it in the very near future, but I'm sure I'll self-sabotage again. And it will hurt even worse. But that will also be a gift, because through that pain, I'm going to surrender even deeper. And that's the invitation if you find yourself self-sabotaging. Can you find it in you to surrender to grace even deeper? All right, I think I've said enough on this. I love you guys. Day 44. Feels so good to be here with you. Namaste.